My name is Dario Miticocchio. I'm an industrial designer. I'm an architect originally. I teach here at the NewSchool of Architecture and Design, specifically the product design program. And I do consulting for companies in the area. Well, innovation is creating a solution that doesn't exist. Innovation can come from all sorts of places. So to try and come up with a solution that hasn't been conceived yet, you can draw into past experiences and recombine them. You can draw in new developments of science, for instance, and interpret them. So it can come really from any direction. Usually innovation comes from combining inputs from multiple directions. That depends a lot on the client and what they're after. So sources can be anything from newspapers, like magazine articles or whatnot that talk about some cultural trends. That can be a new material that you discover and that can be used in a novel application. It can be trying to think of a different business model for a company whose revenue stream is kind of like fading. Mm-hmm. So depending on what the problem that the company is trying to solve is, the source of inspiration for the solution can be in different directions.
Okay. Do you help to provide any sources of innovation for the company?
If that's what they need, yes.
Yeah.
Not all companies need the same things.
Right.
Some companies don't even need innovation, or they don't think they need innovation, so they come with requests that don't include innovation.
Okay.
They just want a new version of what they've already done, which is not really innovation. I think design plays a very important role in developing an innovative product because in general, most disciplines in product development have a tendency to have a vertical focus. So for instance, in R&D, engineers will go very deep into the solution of the problems that they're specifically trained for. Mm-hmm. They start missing the sideways connections of their work. And the designers is normally the one that is trying to see how the balance of the different parts fit together. Mm-hmm. And is usually also the only one that cares about the end user. The engineers will build what they can build, not necessarily what the end users want.
Right.
So I think design has a very important role in innovation because we are Tom Kelly said it in an interview, we're not specialized in anything, mm-hmm. but we're specialized in this process of pulling things together.
You stated in your article, Design the Connective Tissue, that designers connect the dots to get a coherent picture. Is this the same process for innovation for, let's say, interior architecture?
Yeah, I think it applies to all design fields. So like I said earlier, by not being vertically specialized, we can draw inspiration from other fields. And you see it in interior architecture as well. If you think about the evolution of retail in recent years, and probably even more so in the future, mm-hmm. and how it's borrowing from, high-tech, the high-tech industry. Like you have beacons that give very detailed location information on visitors in a store, so that you can tailor an experience for that visitor in that particular location. That's not traditional interior architecture. It's design pulling in from other disciplines and growing that field. Multiple things happening. On one hand, design is getting more recognition and gaining more importance inside industries. So on one hand, you think, okay, there are more opportunities to be innovative. At the same time, because of the very nature of how work is structured inside industries, the moment design becomes an integral part of an organization, it starts being bureaucratized. And now you start creating specific definition for roles, and the moment you start slicing up the discipline into different positions, this ability to connect the pieces starts losing strength. So it's kind of a very strange situation, because on one hand, companies are realizing that they need design and they're investing more in design and they're pulling in designers, and then they close them in a box and they don't let them innovate.
Yeah.
So it's tough to say. In terms of potential, I think that things are looking up. We have more tools, we have more knowledge, more understanding of what design can bring. There are more designers, which means there are more minds thinking up, great ideas. In terms of how the structure around is enabling this, things are not always looking good. And of course, different companies have different approaches. In general, as you see, smaller companies innovate better because they have less structure.
And do you have any advice for future design students that want to be innovators in their field?
Curiosity. Just don't let anything constrain your interests. Look in every possible direction. Be a geek. Find pleasure into exploring something in depth.